Welcome to the 31 Nights of Fright. How about you? Yeah. I'm done with you.
There's nothing wrong with your television set. Do not attempt to adjust your picture. We are controlling the transmission.
What's that, boy? We're in control? Hey, look! I can see my voice! Blup, 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 blup. This is my voice on TV.
Dad, you're ruining the mood.
Sorry.
For the next half hour, we will control what you see and hear. You are about to experience the terror and foul horror of The Simpsons Halloween Special.
However, there are a lot of people who have gotten on my tour and say, this is one of the coolest streets. It actually feels like one of the warmest streets I've been on. Well, this street was also home to a crime that happened in 1787. Dealt with a man by the name of Lieutenant Delaney. Delaney was walking down this street one evening, November 20th of that year. It was pitch black. You couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Delaney most certainly couldn't see that there were two men waiting to jump him at the end of the street. He was beaten quite severely, and then his attackers fled. Now, when he was found, he was taken to the medical facilities up at the fort, and the authorities began working right away on who could have attacked a soldier on the evening and on the street. Well, they questioned Delaney when he came to, but all he could say was there were two men. It was too dark to see anything else. Well, after the new year, Delaney did end up dying from his wounds. And now they were no closer to figuring out what had happened, but they now had a murder on their hands instead of a beating. Well, they wanted to solve this right away. They didn't want it to seem like there was a crime this serious that couldn't be solved like that in St. Augustine. This was 1787. It is now 2007. That crime is just as close to being solved right now as it was the night it happened. They were never any closer. However, there are a lot of people who say, it's really weird you should mention this, because I was walking down the street and I started at that end, I was starting to walk down this end. They said all of a sudden I started getting really tense and nervous. So I couldn't explain why, but I just kept feeling like something terrible was going to happen. Now, I actually have had many cases of people starting to act really strange on my tour at this point. One deals with a little boy about 8 years old. Came in here, we were walking down this street. I stopped right here and he didn't realize I had stopped. He kept walking like he was going to go out into the street. Well, all of a sudden, before his mother or I could call him back, he stopped perfectly safe in the middle of the sidewalk. All of a sudden, a car came whizzing by right down this street. And when I was done talking, he looked up at me and said, before I walked out into the street, someone put a hand on my arm. Now, also, there was another case of a little girl about 8 years old. She lived here in St. Augustine. We were walking down this street, and as soon as we stepped on the street, she already looked very, very nervous. But it was kind of a big group that night, kind of a small street, obviously. I figured she was just nervous about how many people were around her, and I let her up front. Well, when we got to this end, she was shaking and crying and begging her grandmother to take her on to the other side of the street. The grandmother told me to finish the story, took the little girl over there to the corner, calmed her down. When I was done, the little girl told me, I never stop on this street. It scares me. She said, I go as fast as I can. If I don't have to, I won't go on the street at all. And there was a tour guide shadowing me. She had just got hired on this company. She's actually one of my best friends from Flagler. She's one of those people I told you about. I don't believe in ghosts, but we got onto the street, and I already noticed something strange, particularly her hand at her side would do this. Like she was trying to shake something off of it, and she would constantly turn to look over her shoulder, like she was looking for somebody. Well, as I started getting deeper into the story, she stopped and just kind of stared at me. And when I got done, she tiptoed up next to me. She said, I swear, I've never read this story, heard this story, anything yet. She said, but I swear as we got onto this street, down the entire street, I could have sworn I felt somebody trying to hold my hand, and no one was anywhere near me. Now, I'm inclined to believe all of that is Delaney, because Delaney had an obligation, first and foremost, as a soldier in the city, to protect the women and the children. Everybody who had started acting very strange was either a woman or a child on my tour. So, ladies, children, if you guys feel anything really kind of strange, that's probably just Delaney warning you guys to be careful. It's kind of treacherous over here. Gentlemen above the age of 14, you are on your own.